Brian. Brian, thank you very much, and let me make very clear, your capital is welcome here. You should keep investing it here. And we are grateful, not just for the big buildings that you're building, which are impressive, but we're grateful for the 14,000 people who you've given an opportunity to have a job to be able to put a roof over their own head and put food on the table for them and their families. And we're excited about what the future holds for North Point. We're excited about the fact that you've chosen Northeastern Pennsylvania to be your home. Excited for the employment growth and opportunities, the cutting edge technologies that you're going to help bring to bear in this community, Commonwealth, and across the country. We're really bullish on you, on your team at North Point, and we are grateful for you being our partners in making progress here in Luzerne County. So thank you very, very much. Thank you. And it's really good to be back in Hazleton with all of you to celebrate an important economic development project, but to also really highlight what's going on behind this project as a way to help boost economic development and opportunity all across Pennsylvania. I know we're going to hear from the individuals up here in just a moment, but I think it speaks to the way everyone's working together, from the chamber to local government to state government to the private sector, everyone rowing in the same direction to be able to make sure that we are more competitive in Pennsylvania, to be able to bring more prosperity to Pennsylvanians, and to be able to put more people to work all across our Commonwealth. I am mindful that I'm the governor of this great Commonwealth as we seek to do that work, but knowing every day that this is a team sport, economic development, and we've got a great team on the field working together. In order to be more competitive, in order to create more jobs and economic prosperity, I knew the day I took office we needed to do 4 concrete things. And I think you all know me well enough to know I'm not a theoretical guy. I'm a guy of action with concrete to-do lists. So let me walk you through those 4 things. First, we knew we needed to put the people in place in order to bring about real change in the economic development area across Pennsylvania. And the first thing I did was hire Secretary Rick Seiger to lead the Department of Community and Economic Development and surround him with people who understood the importance of bringing all of our agencies together to get stuff done and ensuring that the private sector had a voice within our state government to be able to move a project from beginning to completion. That person who helped shepherd it through the process is Ben Kirshner, who leads our new Office of Transformation and Opportunity. He's one of the GSD guys in our administration. So we knew we needed the personnel, and we've been able to accomplish that. Second, we knew that Pennsylvania needed a plan and a focus of our economic development activities. And so we crafted the first economic development strategy plan in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in 20 years. Think about that. We've been investing money for economic growth and opportunity, but we haven't had a plan. We haven't had a focus. Our plan now, it's not one of those government books that sits on a shelf somewhere. This is something that sits in the middle of all of our conference tables and is what we refer back to constantly. The 5 areas that we are focusing our economic opportunity on, the regions that we're investing in, the tools and the technologies that we're going to be used to bring that about. So first, we needed the people power. We've got that. Second, we needed the plan, and we've got the first plan in 20 years that guides the investments. And then third, we needed more resources to be able to make those investments. Too oftentimes, Pennsylvania lost out on economic opportunities in the past, frankly, because we never even got on the field to compete. And we never got on the field to compete because we didn't have the dollars available to us to be able to make a real pitch to companies that wanted to do business here in Pennsylvania. And so I made a pitch to a bipartisan group of lawmakers to say, give us more tools, and if you do, we can create more jobs and economic opportunity in Pennsylvania. And I'm pleased to be able to tell you, after not even 2 years serving as your governor, we've been able to get the lawmakers in Pennsylvania on a bipartisan basis to increase our economic development budget by more than $1 billion. That's $1 billion in new money just focused on economic development and growing jobs across Pennsylvania. We needed the people, check. We needed a plan, check. And we needed the resources, check. But we needed a fourth thing as well. We needed to move a lot quicker in Pennsylvania to get these projects done. We recognize that time is money, and we recognize that it took too damn long to get projects done in the past. In fact, we also recognize that there were developers who would think about a project, not even maybe need capital from the Commonwealth, but would look at how long it would take to get projects done and say, you know what, we're going to go elsewhere. So we knew the fourth thing we needed in Pennsylvania to really grow our economy and unleash the full opportunity we have here is we needed speed. And that is something that we're here to talk about today. In order to make sure that we have greater speed, and in order to show that we recognize time is money and the government needs to move at the speed of business, we knew we needed to make some serious changes and move things along more quickly. And that is exactly what we've done. We have recognized the need to move quicker is important for developers like North Point, but it's also important for the workers who are out there just trying to get their small business off the ground every day, just try and be able to get to work. A construction crew only gets paid when the job starts, after all. That same logic applies to the barber who's trying to open up his small business and cut hair. We knew we needed to move more quickly to get workers into their offices, into their storefronts, into their job sites more quickly. And I believe Pennsylvanians, regardless of the work they're doing, they deserve to have a government that works just as hard for them as they work for themselves and their businesses. I recognize for some that this idea of moving government more quickly and getting the bureaucracy to move forward is a little bit boring, but I get excited by this stuff. You see, I think the way we process permits and licenses and certifications in this Commonwealth is really, really critical stuff. And it's critical to being able to grow our economy. It touches everyone's lives. Again, whether you're trying to build a huge, groundbreaking technology campus like this, or whether you're that barber trying to open up his small business, or whether you're a dental technician, or whether you are a teacher. In fact, 1 million Pennsylvanians need some type of an occupational license just to go to work every day. And we've got about 6 million people going to work in our Commonwealth on a daily basis. The speed at which you get that permit to build the building or to be able to go to work is really, really crucial in making sure your small business gets off the ground. And we recognize that if it takes too long to get that, then you're opening up late. And already you're a step behind because government wasn't able to get its act together quick enough. I called my own barber the other day to try and understand this from his perspective a little bit better. He cuts about 15 heads of hair each and every day, which, by the way, seems like a lot of heads of hair to cut every day. With just a 5-day delay in him getting his occupational license, that's 75 haircuts he missed out on. 75 different opportunities to get a tip or to make earnings. Time is money, whether you're a barber or whether you're opening up a big campus like this. And so that is why our administration has taken concrete steps to help that barber and to help that big developer and to help teachers and everyone in between get to work more quickly. First, in my first month in office, I signed an executive order directing all Pennsylvania agencies to assess all the different permits that they issue. For the first time, that happened in our state government, and we learned that the Commonwealth issues 2,400 different permits and licenses. We cataloged them for the first time, and we established for the first time ever a timetable whereby each of those 2,400 permits would be issued or denied if they weren't warranted. 2,400 setting clear and consistent timetables for each. And then what we said, because I'm competitive and I want to put my money where my mouth is, we said to the good people of Pennsylvania, if we don't process your permit in time, we will give you your money back. We've got a money back guarantee through the Pennsylvania payback system. I'm proud to tell you that after about a year of having this system in place, we've only had to issue 3 refunds across the entire state. our bureaucracy is moving quickly, and we are getting these permits processed quickly, and we're getting people to work more quickly. And we've already seen the effect of that by clearing backlogs and getting folks into the office and getting folks to be able to move dirt and get big projects done. I'm incredibly proud of Ben Kirshner, who leads our Office of Transformation and Opportunity, and David Wade, the Chief of Staff, for building this payback system and for cutting through all the red tape that historically had stymied progress in order to put us in a position here where we could make great strides. Let me give you a few concrete examples of that. The day I took office as your governor in January of 2023, it took 8 weeks to get a business license in Pennsylvania. Today it takes only 2 days. That's a dramatic improvement. I mentioned my barber. Well, for barbers and cosmetologists, it used to take 2 weeks to get a license. Today it takes less than 24 hours to get that same license. If you want to be a teacher, well, we have cut the wait time down to get you in the classroom by 10 whole weeks. That's beneficial for the teacher and for our students. And thanks to the leadership of Secretary Shirley at the Department of Environmental Protection, she and her team have been able to clear out a backlog by 75%. 75% of permits that have been backlogged have been cleared out. Now listen, I've been doing this for a while. I know people love to complain about DEP and use them as the reason why a project's not getting off the ground. Not anymore. This is DEP 2.0, and they are moving quickly, and they are processing these permits effectively. And I will point out that DEP has not had to issue one refund through our payback system. They're promising and producing these permits on time. So that's the first thing we did, and that was as a result of my executive order. The second thing we did was to bring Democrats and Republicans together to sign a new law to speed up the process at DEP even more. This is called the SPEED program. And for those who've been following the Capitol for years, this is something people have talked about doing for more than a decade. It's something people used as a convenient talking point, but folks never really were able to get in the room to get it done. I brought Democrats and Republicans together to pass this permitting reform into law and to speed up the process at DEP even more. That's the second concrete thing we did. That's known as the SPEED program. And the third step we're taking to speed up this process is what I'm here in Hazleton to talk about today and the executive order I am about to sign. We are today signing an executive order creating the first ever Pennsylvania permit fast track system. Using fast track, we'll be able to speed up permitting even more for complex, major economic development projects that require the involvement of multiple agencies. Think about it. You build a big project like this, you're going to need help from DEP. You're going to need help from PennDOT. You're likely going to need help from the Department of Community and Economic Development, and probably many other departments as well. Labor and industry certainly comes to mind. It's really hard for even talented folks like those at North Point to navigate the alphabet soup of a state bureaucracy. No longer will the burden be on those trying to do business here in Pennsylvania. Instead, the burden is on Ben Kirshner and his team at the Office of Transformation and Opportunity, not only to be the Sherpas through this process, but to get it done really quickly. Ben is already working with his team, identified 3 major complex projects across Pennsylvania to pilot Pennsylvania Fast Track. Hazelnut is one of those projects. We're also working on a massive refinery revitalization project in Philadelphia and a huge methane digester project on a dairy farm in Pennsylvania. Ben and his team are now coordinating between our external partners and our internal agencies to be able to meet and understand what permits are going to be needed, and as you heard before, work through the process to get those permits done quickly. Our entire agency community is bought in. My entire government is bought in to helping make sure this goes forward and goes forward quickly. These 3 pilots showed us that there is a need for fast track. And when I sign that executive order, Fast Track will be available for other major complex projects across Pennsylvania, allowing them to get off the ground more quickly and allowing more capital, as you heard before, to be invested here in Pennsylvania. In addition to having this initiative in place for the Office of Transformation and Opportunity, we've developed a forward-facing dashboard. So you, the developers, you, the public, anyone, can follow along to see how this project is progressing. You'll be able to know what permits are needed. You'll be able to know how long those permits are taking, and you'll be able to know the date certain that those permits will be issued if they are warranted. And again, if they're not issued on time, you'll get your money back. All of this now works together, and we have now unprecedented transparency on this process and accountability for our good folks in our state government. And listen, why are we doing this? Because we want to see these projects get off the ground. We want to see them be built. We think that's good for the 14,000 people North Point employs and hopefully many more as their projects go on. But we also think it's important for the folks who own the sandwich shop down the street, the people who are buying the homes in this community, the people who are going to help the greater Hazleton business community and the community in Luzerne County and across northeastern Pennsylvania, because we're going to buy more supplies from companies who are already doing business here. We're going to have positive downstream effects because we got big projects like this off the ground. This is a winning effort for everyone. Fast Track is going to help us cut through the complexity, put people to work, and have incredibly positive downstream effects as well. So look, I'll close with this. I realize it might seem a little nerdy or wonky to be talking about permits and licenses and applications and executive orders, as excited as I am to talk about it. There's a byproduct of this, which is also showing the good people of Pennsylvania that government can work for them. I'm not going to be political with anybody here, but I don't think I'm going out on a limb to say there are Democrats, Republicans, Independents alike who are all just frustrated that sometimes government doesn't work, right? Frustrated that they have a big idea, they have the capital, they have the know-how, they have the resources, but then government slows them down. That frustrates me as someone who believes that government can be a force for good in people's lives. And I think we have a responsibility to make government work and to make it be efficient and to make it be effective. And to take folks like North Point who want to invest here and say, we welcome your investment and we're going to be your partners in progress. I want to see government get more good stuff done for the good people of Pennsylvania. And I think this executive order is another example of how we're proving that we can be on the side of Pennsylvanians, be on the side of common sense, and get stuff done here in our great Commonwealth. In our administration, I think we've infused it with people who not only know what they're doing, but who have an attitude that they want to break through a brick wall in order to make things happen, or in this case, erect brick walls to make things happen. Leading that effort for us is Ben Kirshner in the aforementioned Office of Transformation and Opportunity, a brand new office we created the day I took office, creating an opportunity for those of you in the private sector, those of you working at the municipal government level, to have someone you can rely on to get through this process. It's important for you to know that Ben was fabulously successful in the private sector. The guy retired before he was even 50, and he doesn't need to be doing this work. I asked him to commit his life to public service and do this work for us, to bring more capital to Pennsylvania, to help ensure it's spent wisely, effectively, and efficiently. And he and his team are doing an outstanding job. So ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the head of our Office of Transformation and Opportunity, Ben Kirshner. Ben?
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. So, how did we get here today? The truth is, we all owe all the credit to Governor Shapiro. He listened to the feedback from the business community when he was on the campaign trail. He took action by creating our office in his first week as governor. On behalf of the entire business community, thank you. I hear from the business community and the site selector community all the time that the three main reasons people choose to relocate to a state are as follows. Number one are people and workforce. Fun fact, I did a bunch of research before I decided to write this. If Pennsylvania was its own country, we'd be the 20th largest country in the entire world, bigger than Saudi Arabia and the Netherlands. We are that size because of our people. That's our competitive advantage. That's how we are as big as we are, because we have the most diverse, best people living here in Pennsylvania. The second reason is money and incentives. We weren't, frankly, in the game in economic development and incentives as other states before the Shapiro administration. Thanks to Governor Shapiro and Secretary Rick Seiger, we got over $1 billion in new incentives to put us back in the game. And number three is permits and speed and ease of doing business. And let's be honest, our reputation for issuing permits wasn't ranked world's best. But that's what makes me so excited about the future of Pennsylvania. Stay with me for a minute. I want to walk you quickly through the journey of our office over the last 2 years. First, as Governor mentioned, we got David Wade as my chief of staff. And David is the best partner I could have asked for to help run our small but mighty Office of Transformation and Opportunity. David and I went on our own listening tour of the business community and devised a solution. Step one was creating the concierge-like service where we recruited top talent from our largest permitting agencies, PennDOT, DEP, and AG. Now we offer a VIP customer experience approach to help the business community navigate the various permitting agencies. Speed and service are what companies care about. Step two was creating payback. Along with the Office of General Counsel, Policy, IT, HR, and Code PA, we introduced the first in the country money-back guarantee on all eligible permit licenses and certifications. We built accountability into the system. And today we're proud to roll out step three, which is the dashboarding portion of our offering, which brings transparency to the entire project scope, not only from the state agencies, but local government and utilities. Service and coordination, accountability, and transparency are what this EO solidifies. We are now the first state in the country to offer this type of solution to significant economic development projects. Today wouldn't be possible without willing partners like HRP Group, North Point, and Grupo, sitting here with us today, who gave us their time, experience, and insights. Thanks to them, we're able to put this idea into practice. And I cannot talk about economic development without mentioning our leader at the state, Secretary Rick Seiger. Secretary Seiger has led our administration in creating the first economic development strategy in over 20 years. In that plan, which can be found at PA Gets It Done, free download by the way, specifically on page 36, it says, under the title, Government at the Speed of Business, we will cut through red tape and foster collaboration across state agencies and reform state permitting processes with a focus on customer experience. Today, we can officially check this box off our to-do list. We can also be proud that we're on our way to being world-class at issuing permits. We actually have a full-time person on our team whose title, get this, Permit Innovation Specialist. Our administration is focused on continuous improvement to make all 2,400 permits, licenses, and certifications have a world-class experience. I also want to acknowledge the secretaries at PennDOT, DEP, AG, L&I, Department of State, and ED. All of these secretaries are rowing in the same direction to our administration's motto of GSD. And it's a pleasure to partner with you all. Now I'd like to introduce Mayor Cassette to the team.
As mayor, my administration is dedicated to creating vibrant business districts and a more efficient government. The City of Hazleton has made critical updates to our code department, issuing thousands of permits and business licenses during my tenure. I'm happy to see that the state sees the value in taking action to speed up its permitting process. When we cut down on unnecessary red tape, we attract more businesses, create jobs, and help get licenses and certifications needed for projects to succeed. Governor Shapiro and I are on the same page here. Government should work for the people, and it should not slow down economic development projects that will benefit our communities. The Fast Track Download Dashboard will help improve government efficiency at the state level, putting all state permits needed for an economic development project together in one place, and will promote accountability by showing where these projects are running and if they're on time. Project Hazelnut, a new technology campus in Hazel Township, is one of these key projects. Making government work effectively and efficiently for projects of this size takes a team effort. This new campus will not be possible if we weren't all working together and moving in the same direction. The leaders you see here today will continue to work together to make sure that we can get things done for you. Now I'd like to introduce Dr. Anthony Gregoli, Chairman of the Hazel Township Supervisors.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks. Thanks, Tom.
I'd first like to thank the governor and his staff and everyone from Harrisburg, along with my two other supervisors from Hazel Township. We're honored to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you too, Mayor. The Fast Track program and the governor's other permitting efforts are going to be a game changer for Pennsylvania, making sure that economic development projects are kept on time and don't get held up due to the red tape in state government. Hazel Township has a lot going on lately. These types of projects can happen without fast and efficient permitting from the government. As the mayor mentioned, it takes everyone working together to get a project like this over the finish line. And the township has worked incredibly hard on making this a successful public-private partnership. The new tech campus being built in Hazel Township will create some 900 good-paying tech jobs. All the money to build this project comes from private businesses, no public subsidies. And when the project is up and running, the township will see tax revenue that will help support our schools, our parks, and our roads. Hazel Township is open for business, and we are grateful to have partners at the state level who are working with us and with businesses like North Point to get things done for Pennsylvania. Governor Shapiro's efforts to speed up permitting are crucial for making economic development projects. They will also help people on an individual level, like the governor said. You're going to help teachers, you're going to help barbers, you're going to help doctors, nurses. My wife brought that up to me the other day.
Just here to make your wife happy.
You likely need a license or a certification here in Pennsylvania. People work incredibly hard to train for their careers. They deserve a government that delivers for them and works just as hard. Hazel Township has a very long and distinguishing history of commercial and industrial development. The township has been a state focus of large-scale development for decades, but especially over these last 4 to 5 years. So we know intimately about the desperate need for this new governor's initiative, and we compliment him on his efforts. Nothing is more exciting, however, than the current Hazelnut project involving the proposed technology campus. The value of the proposed investment will make this the single largest investment in our area in history. With this investment comes much desired technology, related jobs that will nicely complement our existing workforce. North Point, you guys have been an excellent partner here in the township. And I know Jimmy and Bob, you feel the same way about that. Having successfully and skillfully completed several local projects, so we are very happy that they are developing Project Hazelnut here as well. I want to thank North Point. I want to thank you all of our community stakeholders, and thank you very much, Governor Shapiro. Together, moving in the same direction, we will continue to lead Pennsylvania's growth into the future. Now I would like to introduce Mary Malone from the Greater Hazleton Chamber of Commerce.
Thanks, Supervisor. Thank you.
We're excited to welcome all of you here to the Greater Hazleton area today. Have you ever noticed that when you start to focus on an element, it automatically gets bumped up and improved? Take our smartwatches that we all wear, or rings. I'm a competitive person also, Governor, by nature. And as soon as I started to do that and watch my steps for the day, I fully admit to doing laps around my bedroom at the end of the day just so I could hit my goal and get that electronic bump to say that I did it and I accomplished that. From my perspective, this fantastic and dynamic new tool of PA Permit Fast Track is that awareness for a transformational and complex project that is the Hazelnut Project. This executive order to put the PA Fast Track program into place brings together, as Dr. Gergoli said, that public-private partnership to a new level. I propose that our next phase is actually the 3 C's: connection, collaboration, and community. This tool adds connection not only to Harrisburg or to our great friend District 4, Rich Roman and the PennDOT team, to further build and make those connections, even here between Hazel Township and the city of Hazleton on projects where our borders and lines convene and come together. It also then fosters collaboration, not only from Harrisburg, from the bigger agencies, but collaboration here at home. And then that final element is community. And to me, that's where the rubber meets the road, where Project Hazelnut brings jobs not only in technology sector, but more teachers to our school districts and in the classroom, more healthcare providers for Lehigh Valley Hospital in Hazleton, and new small businesses like the barbershops and hair salons. So I promise you, I did not see the governor's remarks before he made his today. But what's the common piece about the medical teams and the teachers and the barbershops is that they all need licenses as well in order to compete and thrive. The focus of Governor Shapiro and the Office of Transformation Opportunity has their end goal to make things happen, which then thereby allows us in our community to make things happen as well. So thank you to the governor, to the Office of Transformation, to North Point for choosing the greater Hazleton area for this important project. Governor, we are ready to go.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mary, I want to say thank you, and I don't know if you caught that. Mary actually stood up here and gave me a homework assignment as part of our next steps on economic development. I accept that, and we'll be working together. And I'm going to sign this executive order. I just didn't want anybody to lose a nugget of something that Dr. Gully said, and the mayor alluded to as well in their comments. There's a real pride in what's happening in this community. A pride not just in the buildings that are being built here and at Hazelnut, but a pride in the fact that this is a region on the rise and that good things are happening here. And as I travel across Pennsylvania, there's now a bit of a competitive spirit from region to region about whose economic development project is bigger or more impactful or what have you. That's exciting to me because for a long time, we didn't have stuff like this happening. It is happening now. And while I give great credit to our team in Harrisburg, we understand that we're only as strong as our partners on the ground, our partners in the public sector and our partners in the private sector. And I think this spirit of partnership and competitiveness, it's infectious all across Pennsylvania, and good things are going to continue to happen here. And so I'm grateful to all of you, grateful to everyone who spoke, and I'm going to ask if you can join me as I sign this executive order, and then we'll return to answer some questions from the media. Thank you. to the podium and we'll take some questions. We'll take a few quick questions. I told the mayor I want to meet his 5-month-old, so we're going to do this quick. Anything from the media?
Hi, Governor.
I'm just having a hard time seeing you, so. Yeah.
I'll yell. I'm Kat. I'm from WVIA. So, what is a major complex project? Like, what would qualify, to be part of the new program?
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit of you know it when you see it, right? We have not set this up in a way that a project has to be a certain acreage or create a certain number of jobs or what have you in order to qualify. But what it is are complex, large-scale projects that are going to require a lot of different agencies to be involved. It's going to require a lot of different permits along the way. And so we don't want a developer like North Point or any others to get frustrated by that or feel stymied by that. Instead, what we want is to have the Office of Transformation and Opportunity walk them through this process. We expect, obviously we've piloted 3 projects, we expect there to be a lot more, and we expect it to happen in 2 ways, both the Office of Transformation and Opportunity reaching out to someone who's got a big idea, as well as those with the big ideas, the big projects, the big capital, reaching out to us to ask for help. And so as we go forward, you'll see more and more projects along the way, and you'll be able to follow it on our public-facing dashboard.
And, why did the permitting process need to be reformed? What was kind of the holdup before you took office?
It was too damn slow, and it was too complex. And if you were a developer, you didn't know where to go. And oftentimes those developers were forced to hire fancy lawyers and lobbyists and others to get them through the process. We don't want there to be a barrier to entry here. We want to make it easier for developers to bring their capital to our communities. We want to take the burden off of them and put it on Ben and his team, and they've got big, wide shoulders who are able to do this work. So, look, I wasn't about diagnosing all the problems in the past. I was about fixing the problems and getting it done going forward, and that's exactly what we've done. Anything else from the media? Okay, thank you all very much.